Money. I'm Megan Potter, and I'm going to be your guide for this 2-month exercise in transforming and expanding your money, your business, and your life. The Summer of Money is not about how much money you have and everything about your relationship to it. Last week, I invited you to experiment with my mantra. Thank you, I love you, I'm grateful. And to use it every time you were offered or received something. For me, the mantra helps me to remember who I want to be in the world, especially around money. It reminds me to be open, to be receptive. It's hard, but it's actually a really powerful gratitude practice. I don't actually use it when I receive things. I fold it into my daily spiritual practice. I literally use it like a mantra or a chant. I say it over and over every morning. And when I use it, I'm not actually talking to a specific person or being thankful for a specific thing. To me, it's more about just being grateful for everything that I have, being thankful to the divine. But a lot of times, it's also really about talking directly to the spirit of money, to be able to say thank you. Thank you for showing up every time I need you. Thank you for always meeting me where I'm at and for showing up in new ways that I couldn't have expected. Relationships are about give and take. And everybody is expected to do their part in a relationship. But that doesn't mean that it's okay to take for granted what the other party is doing just because you did something else. That won't fly with your spouse. It won't fly with your best friend. And the truth is, it doesn't work with money either. Everybody wants to be appreciated for the things they've done for you. They want to know that you see them, that you're grateful, that you know that they did this for you. It encourages them, and it makes them want to do more for you in return. Everybody has their own way of expressing appreciation, gratitude, and respect. In my house, I tend to say thank you a lot. I tell my husband thank you for all kinds of things. When he takes the garbage out on garbage day, I say thank you for taking the garbage out. Because I really, really don't want to get up at 6 a.m. to take the garbage out. And when I say it, he's kind of surprised because he thinks of it as his job to take the garbage out, and so it never occurs to him he should be thanked for it. But the truth is that if I didn't thank him, after a little while, he'd start to get really frustrated and resent me, and it would be something he used against me in an argument. On the other hand, his love language isn't really words. If I do something for him that he's grateful for, he usually shows his gratitude by doing something in return for me. So he might make me a really nice breakfast, or he might book time off of work without telling me about it so we can go do something together. It's this give and take, this back and forth, that lets our relationship thrive. It's what keeps things like frustration and anger and resentment from building up between us. And instead, it brings me back to him and him back to me over and over again. What's bringing money back to you? To me, this is the key. The idea of money as a being, as something that I'm in relationship with, transformed my financial life. And that's why I'm doing Summer of Money, because it's so simple and so transformative. And I really, really wanted to be able to share it with you. The appreciation part of it, that's hard though, because there's still all this anxiety around the small M money. How can I celebrate big M money when I still feel angsty about small M money? There's this thing that I would use as a kind of anchor, a reminder that I was still learning to do things differently. I would use it every time I had an interaction with money. It might be like something I thought or something I did. It might be paying money or just a story that I found myself thinking when I wanted to charge a price for something. Whenever that happened, I would ask myself this question, and I still use it almost every day. Because a lot like my marriage needs attention every day, so does my relationship to money. This was the question. If I treated my friend or my husband the way I just treated money, would it still want to be friends with me? If I said what I just thought in my head about money to Jeff, how would he feel? And if I treated my best friend the way that I've been treating money today, would she still want to spend time with me? It's a really simple question, but it's a powerful way to reframe things. So I want to give you an example of how this reframe kind of works, because to me it seems really simple, but I've been using it for a really long time, and it might take like a little bit to get your brain around how it could be actually useful with money specifically. So I'm going to show you this example to kind of walk you through it. Remember how I told you that my issue with money is avoidance, that's my bad money habit. I tend to avoid things when I'm stressed. So let's imagine that I'm having a really difficult month and I'm not making the money I'm supposed to make, and it's looking like I might not even make the money I need to make on any given month to cover our costs. What I would do in that situation is I would start to get really stressed out and frustrated, or what I used to do, and then I would start avoiding my money. I would stop looking in my PayPal account, and I would stop looking in my bank account, and I would maybe pay all the bills when I have to, but then I would go whole stretches of time without even wanting to look at anything, because thinking about looking at it is stressing me out. And so I'm not talking to money, and I would give up the habits that I've built into my life about engaging and talking to both small M money and big M money. I stopped tracking the money I'm making, and I stopped paying attention to what's being covered and when things come out. I'll even lose track of what point I'm in the month, because a lot of my markers for the month cycle are when payments come out. Now I don't know whether I have spending money or don't have spending money, and everything feels up in the air. It's not really helping me, but in the moment when I feel stressed, it kind of numbs me out. So let's turn this into a situation with an actual person in it, because that's a little easier to kind of wrap our brains around. So imagine that you have a friend and she's asked you for a favor. She's moving and she needs somebody to come help her pack up her house. She's got a lot of stuff going on, and she really is just kind of putting all her feelers out to get all the help she can because she really needs it. And you love your friend and you know she honestly needs the help, and so you tell her you'll come by and help. She doesn't need you to come on a specific date, she just needs you to come by the end of the week. And so the plan is that you're going to contact her and tell her when you're coming this week to help. But after you committed to doing it, things started coming up in your life, and they don't have anything to do with her, their work and husband and kids or whatever. And you just start feeling really stressed, and you are so stressed out and feeling like really emotionally overwhelmed. And the thought of having to like commit to something and show up and go spend all this time doing this really heavy lifting work when you're so exhausted and drained is so overwhelming that you're starting to regret actually committing to it. But the thing is that you know that your friend is really stressed and that she really needs your help, and so you feel kind of obligated to go because you said you would. And you're so torn on this that you keep putting off telling her when you'll come. You just don't let her know. And then like you get almost to the end of the week and you realize that now like the time is almost out, but you feel so bad for leaving her hanging, you just don't contact her. You really you want to tell her that you're really sorry and what's going on and that it's not personal, but the thing is she has so much going on with this move that you feel like you can't possibly burden her with it, and it's better not to bother her. The further on that time goes, the more guilty you feel about not having talked to her. And the next week comes and you think, well, maybe you'll email her and tell her you'll come by on Tuesday night and help her load the truck or unpack. Maybe you could help her unpack. And every day you tell yourself, today I'm going to email her by the end of the day and let her know that I could come and help unpack and that I'm so sorry. But every day you get to the end of the day and you're exhausted and you can't imagine when you're going to go, and you just feel so bad about having let so much time go by since you talked that you tell yourself you'll do it tomorrow. And each day it just gets worse and worse and worse. And you leave your friend to do this whole thing by herself, and it's not that you meant to abandon her, but you just got into this place where you didn't know what to do about it. She moves and it's been a long time and you want to talk to her again, but you're not really sure how to go about doing that because this is a little awkward. So let's change your position in the situation. Instead of being the friend who fell off the face of the earth, let's imagine that you're the friend who asked for help. What would happen if this happened to you? How would you react to it? Your friend just kind of disappears. You ask her for help and she says she'll help you, and and you just don't hear from her for like 3 weeks. She's just gone. No explanation, nothing. How would you feel about that? I mean, first you'd probably wonder, is everything okay? Did something happen? But she didn't contact you when you're so busy. And then you'd start to get really frustrated. Like, what happened? You'd question yourself, should I not have asked her? Did I ask too much of her? Was it wrong of me to ask her? And then you just like start to get really angry and maybe even bitter with her. What's her problem? If she couldn't come, if she didn't care, she could have just said no. It's not like I was obliging her to help me out here. She could have just told me no, and then I could have found someone else who could have helped me. Instead, I've been waiting all this time for someone who just doesn't even care enough to tell me she can't come. 3 weeks later, you get an email from her asking you to go for coffee. Are you going? Look at the situation one last time. What would people in a trusting and strong relationship do? How would the situation change then? They'd connect. They'd make contact. They'd communicate. They'd say, I'm really sorry. I know I said I would, but it turns out that I can't come this week. And I know how much help you need. Is there some way I can help you afterwards when things open back up for me? Or is there something else I can do that you need that's within my capabilities right now? Can I ask someone else to come help you? There are all kinds of ways that someone in a trusting relationship would actually interact here. They wouldn't avoid the money. They'd still look at the bank account. They'd still do the practices that they have in place around money. They would say, hey, I am so stressed about this money. I am so stressed, but I'm showing up because this is my part. My part is balancing the checkbook, is noting all the money I made this month. I'm asking, can you show up and help me out a little bit here? I'll hold up my end. Can you hold up yours? When you treat money with respect and appreciation, what you discover is that money actually wants to be in relationship with you. It wants to show up for you. Money wants you to tell it that it's stressed out. There are a lot of people and spirits that have an affinity for money. And money wants you to find them, wants to bring them into your life, wants you to have the help and support that you need to get out of that place of stress. Money wants to bring more money into your life. But most of all, money wants you to respect and appreciate it. Think about the last interaction you had with money. It might have been just a thought you had about yourself and your own worth. It could have been avoiding looking in your bank accounts, or feeling horrible when you wrote that check to pay the bill. It could have been all kinds of things. What was the last interaction you had with money? Thinking about that, ask yourself, if I treated a friend, a lover, a family member, the way I treated money in that interaction, what would our relationship be right now? How would that person feel about me and our relationship? I'd love to hear what comes up for you as you kind of experiment with this question this week. You can leave it in the comments below. You can tell me about it on Facebook or through email. If you like this video, I love it if you gave us a like, and I really would love to have you subscribe to make sure that you don't miss what's coming next in the Summer of Money. Bye.